And because you have a winner taste, 88.5 FM is your only station.
From Royal Communications Incorporated, good morning and welcome to King's News Brown. 45-minute news about Liberia, Africa, in our one word. Today is Thursday, October 31, 2024, and I'm Shamon Dia presenting. In the headlines, majority bloc of the House of Representatives issued second warning to Deputy Speaker Thomas Falla, mandates his appearance in the joint chamber on October 31. Ministry of Public Works refutes allegations of 22 million used for road maintenance. Minister Guinea says US 9.9 million was disbursed to contractors for the road works. And also in the news this morning, University of Liberia Student Union criticizes anti-Kofa blog over continuing political fight for the removal of Speaker Kofa. Group spokesperson Ibrahim Gabin says the fight is a hindrance to government workings. And away from Liberia, a beauty queen in Rwanda has been arrested for drunk driving and driving without a lesson. As Spain grapples with the fallout from the flash floods, which struck on Tuesday, the blame game has already begun, with disaster relief services accused of being slow to react. These was our news bulletin. Voices of the newsmakers are packaged. We'll take a short break to be back with the news bulletin. Welcome back and thanks for being there. Members of the majority bloc of the House of Representatives has responded to Deputy House Speaker Thomas Falla's letter of excuse, warning him to appear in the joint chamber on Thursday, October 31 during its session. On October 28, Deputy Speaker Falla wrote the acting Chief Clerk Thomas Toby requesting the anti-Kofa bloc to excuse his presence in its Tuesday, October 29 section, following initial communication from the anti-Kofa bloc compelling the presence of the Deputy Speaker in its Tuesday section. Falla argued that although the majority bloc has invoked appropriate provisions of the rules and procedures of the House of Representatives, as well as the Liberian Constitution, to compel him to appear in a joint chamber on Tuesday, October 29, he needed to consult with his legal team to make an informed decision in the matter at hand. But in a letter addressed to Deputy Speaker Thomas Falla on October 30, the majority bloc said it concurred with the Deputy Speaker's previous excuse, a request his presence before it says this sitting session on Thursday, October 31, to discharge his legislative duty. The anti-Kofa bloc's second communication to Deputy Speaker Falla is said to have cast a dark cloud on the ongoing political struggle for the removal of House Speaker Fonanti Kofa, as several Liberians look forward to the next position of the Deputy Speaker. The Vice President of the University of Liberia Student Union, Ibrahim Gapin, is urging the 43 majority lawmakers to resume their work in the national legislature as soon as possible. Speaking to reporters at the main campus of the University of Liberia, the UL Vice President stated that it is completely unacceptable for elected representatives to abandon their duties and leave the legislative chamber without addressing the current issues in the country. According to him, they stand for accountability, transparency, and a commitment to public service, emphasizing that their representatives have been entrusted by the people to act in the best interests of the nation. The union also believes that the well being of the Liberian people should be the top priority in the legislature, urging the lawmakers to fully dedicate themselves to their roles and provide the necessary oversight and legislative support to ensure stability and progress for all Liberians. The Minister of Public Works, Roland Giddens, has strongly refuted allegations that his ministry has spent US 22 million on road maintenance across Liberia. Reports have circulated suggesting that the Ministry of Public Works received US 22 million for road maintenance under Minister Giddens' tenure. However, during a public hearing before the Senate Committee on Public Works on Tuesday, Mr. Guinness clarified that the ministry was never allotted such funds. The Public Works Minister informed the committee, led by former Senate Pro Tempore Abbott Chie of Grand Crew County, that the ministry has only disbursed US 9.9 million to contractors for road work across the country. Mr. Giddens challenged those making the allegations to substantiate their claims with evidence, addressing the controversy surrounding 285 yellow machines brought into Liberia by the Unity Party-led government. Mr. Giddens disclosed that the matter was referred to the Ministry of Justice for legal review on behalf of the government. The president of the National Custom Brokers Association of Liberia, James Hinen, is calling on the Liberian government to provide financial support for its organization, highlighting the critical role the National Custom Brokers of Liberia plays in national revenue generation. Speaking to journalists on Tuesday at the National Custom Brokers Association of Liberia headquarters, Hinen emphasized concern that once his tenure as president ends, his successor may struggle to continue the organization's efforts without government support, potentially jeopardizing revenue collection. He voiced his frustration over the government's continuing financial support for several institutions, according to him, do not contribute to national revenue but still receive funding. The Center for Transparency and Accountability in Liberia has attributed the ongoing political saga at the House of Representatives to economic violence. Center Executive Director Anasi Miamin described economic violence as one of the major reasons that have led to the Speaker removal, especially with the many allegations of financial inducement among lawmakers. He maintained that although the removal of House Speaker in Liberia has been an OH problem, the current situation poses a serious threat to the functions and responsibilities of members of the lower house. Serving as a panelist recently during the National Youth Peace, Security, and Wellbeing Conference, this entire boss called on both conflicting parties of the House of Representatives to reconcile in the interest of Liberia. The Retirees Association of the Firestone Rubber Plantation has accused the management of the plantation of refusing to pay its pension benefits after serving and honorably retiring from the company. Speaking in an interview Wednesday, the Firestone Rubber Association Retiree Association President Raleigh Jala asserted that over 4,000 retirees of the association have not been paid their retirement benefits. According to him, the alleged refusal of the company has resulted to dissatisfaction among retirees. He also accused the Firestone management of being discriminatory in the payment of former workers of the entity. Jada further indicated the Firestone Retirees Association has taken legal steps against the company over the alleged failure to pay pension benefits, something he said the administration of the Firestone Rubber Plantation Corporation is yet to adhere to. Also speaking, the senior advisor of the Firestone Rubber Retiree Association, Victor Bestment, called on the government, human rights organizations, and international partners to intervene in what he described as dispute between the association and the Firestone Rubber Plantation Corporation. The Red Cross or Liberian National Red Cross Society and representatives of the Liberian government are attending the 34th International Conference of the Red Cross and Red Crescent movement in Geneva, Switzerland. This year's conference, held under the theme Navigate Uncertainty, Strengthen Humanity, began on October 28 and will be climaxing on October 31, 2024. The global conference reflect the urgency of fostering stronger humanitarian systems to address escalating global crises and strengthen resilience within vulnerable communities, including those in Liberia. The conference is organized by the Standing Commission of the International Federation of Red Cross and Red Crescent movement as a key forum for addressing humanitarian issues. It brings together representatives of government, donor institutions of learning, as well as financial community. The government of Liberia has taken a transformative step in its environmental journey by signing a letter of engagement with the Coalition for Rainforest Nations. This landmark agreement signifies Liberia's commitment to participating actively in a global carbon market aimed at empowering carbon trading initiatives that will particularly benefit communities living near the forest while also unlocking new avenues for climate finance to support national development goals. The engagement is set to run from 2024 to 2026 and will commence immediately. Representatives from the Environmental Protection Agency, Forestry Development Authority, Ministry of Finance and Development Planning, and the Ministry of Justice signed the letter of engagement on behalf of the government of Liberia. The Coalition for Rainforest Nations, which includes over 50 member countries, brings invaluable expertise in helping tropical nations to trade carbon credits. The Center for Economic Crimes and Security Studies has launched a one-day roundtable discussion on preventive measures of violent extremism and terrorism in Monrovia. Center for Economic Crimes and Security Studies, a non-governmental organization, was established to help prevent the financial sector from abuse of terroristic activities, ensuring transparency and responsibility in all actions to serve public interest through the promotion of economic justice. Speaking Wednesday during the launch of the program in Monrovia, Lawrence Yelu, a civil society activist, indicated robust action is required in curbing crimes, including terroristic and financial crimes. According to him, Liberia has been exposed to some forms of terroristic threats due to limited actions by stakeholders to prevent these mentioned. Also speaking, Anthony Wilson Tama of the Liberia Immigration Service underscored LIS preparedness to ensure preventive measures on violent extremism and terrorism across Liberia. A 3-day intensive national climate justice summit has been launched to boost Liberia's agroecology and renewable energy sectors. Making the overview of the program, National Climate Justice Summit chairperson in Liberia disclosed that the institution is prepared to collaborate with women and youth groups to lead a transformative action for climate discussion among agriculture and the energy sectors, indicating that it will help provide awareness, dialogue, and advocacy. The 3 days National Climate Justice Summit, which commenced on October 30, is being held at the Ellen Johnson Ministerial Complex in Congo Town. The program brought together stakeholders, women and youth groups from different parts of West Africa. She also noted that the objectives of the program is to mobilize state and non-state actors to foster agroecology, women, young people, and local communities' involvement to implementing policies of the renewable energy through processes to promote comprehensive and inclusive energy saving. For his part, the executive director of Rural Renewable Energy Agency of Liberia, Samuel Nangwe, lauded the organizers and partners of the program, describing it as a significant tool to the energy and agriculture sectors. Action Against Hunger has donated several essential items to the Liberia National Red Cross Society to support the institution's disaster relief efforts. The donation is aimed at strengthening response efforts and will allow the Liberia Red Cross to provide temporary shelter and safe water storage solutions to affected individuals and families. In a release issued October 29, the Liberia Red Cross outlined 308 tarpaulins and 330 buckets as items donated by the Action Against Hunger. The release also indicated that the tarpaulin will be used to offer protection to individuals who have lost their homes, while the buckets will assist communities in safely storing clean water that will mitigate health risks in disaster affected areas. The head of the Diaspora Liberians Annual Return 2024, Clerics Kolu, Daskula has revealed plan of Liberians living abroad to return home anytime soon. Speaking on State Radio Wednesday, Kula stated that the upcoming program is scheduled to take place from the 1st of December to the 31st, aimed at bringing educated and potential Liberians back home to contribute to the country. She noted that this significant and auspicious event will focus on uniting Liberians from all over the world and encourage them to invest in the youth of Liberia's economy, indicating that one of the planned activities is a joint march on the streets of Monrovia, where Liberians living abroad and locals will come together and showcase their solidarity. The city mayor of Zwergo City in Grangida County, Rita Masakwe, has assured citizens of the removal of cattle from the streets in the city. The spread of cattle, including goats, sheep, and other animals in the city, has caused several problems for residents who term the act as problem uncivilized and pollution that is causing health hazard for residents. Speaking to reporters in Zwergo on Wednesday, Mayor Massa quite appreciated citizens for their patience in relation to the removal of cattle in the city, adding that her administration is prepared to set precedents for those selling and rearing of cattle as a means of beautifying the city. She noted that she is not against those selling cattle, but rather against the procedures in which they are making their business. And briefly away from Liberia as Spain grapples with the fallout from the flash flood, which struck on Tuesday, the blame game has already begun, with disaster relief services accused of being slow to react. Much of the country has been badly hit by heavy rain and hailstorms, triggering rapid flooding in many areas, which has already claimed at least 72 lives. But the Civil Protection Agency, which was deployed during the natural disaster, did not issue an alert until Tuesday, when the flooding had already caused a great deal of damage. The magnitude of the tragedy raises doubts about whether the population was warned too late. Civil protection forces have sent out alerts when there were already flooded towns. At the paper goes on to point out hundreds of people were trapped throughout the night from Tuesday to Wednesday in industrial estates due to roads which were already cut off and access was cut off.
Audio Jungle.
A reminder you're listening to King's News Room for the 5 minutes news about Liberia, Africa, and our one world. Stories topping the news this morning. Majority bloc of the House of Representatives issues second warning to Deputy Speaker Thomas Fala, mandating his appearance in the joint chamber on October 31. Ministry of Public Works refutes allegations of US 22 million used for road maintenance. Minister Guinness says US 9.9 million was disbursed to contractors for the road works. And also in the news, University of Liberia Student Union criticizes anti-Kofa blog over continuing political fight for the removal of Speaker Kofa. Blue spokesperson Abraham Gampin says the fight is a hindrance to government's workings. And away from Liberia, a beauty queen in Rwanda has been arrested for drunk driving and driving without a lesson. We'll take a break to be back with voices of the newsmakers.
Audio Jungle. Audio Jungle.
Welcome back and thanks for being there. The Vice President of the University of Liberia Student Union, Abraham Gapin, is urging the 43 majority representatives to resume their work in the national legislature as soon as possible. Speaking of reporters at the main campus of the University of Liberia, the UAL Vice President stated that it is completely unacceptable for elected representatives to abandon their duties and leave the legislative chamber without addressing the current issues in the country.
The University of Liberia Student Union demands immediate resumption of work by 43 lawmakers in the majority bloc of the National Legislature. The University of Liberia Student Union also calls upon the 43 lawmakers in the majority bloc of the National Legislature to immediately resume their legislative duties and fulfill their mandate. Unacceptable that elected representatives have left their legislative chambers without fulfilling their responsibilities to address the pressing issues facing our nation. As students and concerned citizens, we stand for the principles of accountability, transparency, and commitment to public service. We remind these lawmakers that they are entrusted by the people to act in the nation's interest, particularly in these challenging times when decisive leadership and legislative action are essential. The University of Liberia Student Union demands the following. One, the immediate resumption of duties. We insist that all 43 lawmakers in the majority bloc return to their legislative roles without delay to attend to matters of national interest, including critical issues affecting the economy, education, healthcare, and security. Number two, commitment to public welfare. The well-being of the Liberian people must be the foremost priority of the legislature. We urge these lawmakers to dedicate themselves to their roles and provide the necessary oversight and legislative support needed to ensure stability and progress for all Liberians. Number three, accountability and transparency. We call for transparency in their actions and decisions. Any prolonged absence from duty undermines the public's trust and weakens the integrity of our democratic institutions. The people of Liberia, especially the youth and student community, are closely watching this situation. Right? We are preparing to take appropriate and lawful actions, including mass peaceful protests in the coming days.
Vice President of the University of Liberia Student Union, Abraham Gapi, thus speaking. The Minister of Public Works, Roland Giddings, has strongly refuted allegations that his ministry has spent US $22 million on road maintenance across Liberia. Reports have circulated suggesting that the Ministry of Public Works received US $22 million for road maintenance under Minister Giddings. However, during a public hearing before the Senate Committee on Public Works on Tuesday, Mr. Giddings clarified that the ministry was never allotted such funds. The President of the National Custom Brokers Association of Liberia, James Hidden, is calling on the Liberian government to provide financial support for his organization, highlighting critical role the National Custom Brokers Association of Liberia plays in national revenue generation. Speaking to journalists on Tuesday at the National Custom Brokers Association of Liberia headquarters, Hidden emphasized concern that once his tenure as president ends, his successor may struggle to continue the organization's effort without government support, potentially jeopardizing revenue collection. We'll bring you that excerpt in our subsequent newscast. The Retirees Association of the Firestone Rubber Plantation has accused the management of the plantation of refusing to pay its pension benefits after serving and honorably retiring from the company. Speaking in an interview Wednesday, the Firestone Rubber Association president Raleigh Jala asserted that over 4,000 retirees of the association have not been paid their retirement benefits.
More than 4,000 retirees, and we are aggrieved. We are aggrieved in that Firestone took away our pensions benefit, and not only that, but they did it discriminately. What I mean by that is that Firestone, in implementing the Decent Work Act, decided that she was not responsible to pay retirement benefit to retirees anymore according to the Decent Work Act. They go to court about that. First, we went to the 13th Judicial Circuit Court in Kakata. The case was ruled in our favor. We went to court because we were aggrieved. We felt that Firestone shouldn't have taken away our retirement benefits. But Firestone said they were operating under the laws of implementing the 2015 Decent Work Act. We went to court because the first thing, laws are not supposed to be retroactive. Somebody who was retired 15 years ago, and the Decent Work Act came into being around 2015, they went and took away that person's benefit.
Also speaking, the senior advisor of the Firestone Rubber Association, Victor Bestment, called on the government, human rights organizations, and international partners to intervene in what he described as dispute between the association and the Firestone Rubber Plantation Corporation.
We are calling on the government, we are calling on people like you, we are calling on national, international human rights organizations to please intervene in our matter. The retirees are dying, they are suffering, and they need the help of the government. Thank you so much. I'm calling all the international human rights groups all around Europe and America, including the ones in Liberia. That Firestone is not doing the right thing. Firestone is violating the highest human rights violation. Since they instituted the so-called stoppage of the pension opportunity to the retirees of Firestone, more than 200% have died from that. And I'm calling upon their business partner that Firestone is violating human rights here. Not only killing of somebody willingly and giving opportunity to be free is what we call human rights violation. Firestone is violating. If she continues to do that, I think their products should be boycotted on the market.
The Center for Transparency and Accountability in Liberia has attributed the ongoing political saga at the House of Representatives to economic violence. Center Executive Director Anna Semieme described economic violence as one of the major reasons that have led to the attempt to remove House Speaker Fonati Kofa, especially with the many allegations of financial inducement among lawmakers. He maintained that although the removal of House Speaker in Liberia has been an OH problem, the current situation poses a serious threat to the functions and responsibilities of members of the lower house.
One is the current back and forth that is taking place at the legislature at the moment. The House of Representatives, to be particular, in terms of alleged bribe payment to remove Speaker Fonati Kofa. But there have also been allegations around budget manipulation and tampering. These are issues that have existed for many, many years. And part of the reasons why we're here is to end violent and extremism affecting young people, young men, young women. But one of the main issues that we have to deal with is economic violence. So when we talk about violence, it's not violence, economic violence, new reasons, like I said, why young people, for us to have a conversation around how we can end violence and extremism affecting young people, but looking at it from different dimensions.
Center for Transparency and Accountability in Liberia, Executive Director Anna Semieme. A reminder you're listening to King's News Brom, 45 minutes news about Liberia, Africa, in our one word. Stories topping the news this morning. Majority bloc of the House of Representatives issued second warning to Deputy Speaker Thomas Fallard. Mandates his appearance in the joint chamber on October 31. Ministry of Wealth refutes allegations of 22 million used for road maintenance. Minister Gaines says US 9.9 million was disbursed to contractors for road works. And also in the news, University of Liberia Student Union criticizes anti-Kofa bloc over continuing political fight for the removal of House Speaker Fonati Kofa. Whose spokesperson Ibrahim Gapin says the fight is a hindrance to government's workings. And away from Liberia, a beauty queen in Rwanda has been arrested for drunk driving and driving without a license. As Spain grapples with the fallout from the flash floods which struck on Tuesday, the blame game has already begun with disaster relief services accused for being slow to react. Take another break to be back with more voices. Welcome back and thanks for being there. The Center for Economic Crimes and Security Studies has launched a one-day roundtable discussion on preventive measures of violent extremism and terrorism in Monrovia. Center for Economic Crimes and Security Studies, a non-governmental organization, was established to help prevent the financial sector from abuse of terroristic activities, ensuring transparency and responsibility in all actions to serve public interest through the promotion of economic justice. Speaking Wednesday during the program launch in Monrovia, Lawrence Yellow, a civil society activist, indicated robust action of required in curbing crimes, including terroristic and financial crimes.
And you will pay for those as much as we need and every time. So you are affected directly by those decisions, even though the terroristic attack might not be in Nigeria. But the decision to protect the borders of Nigeria and the threat into Nigeria, you are directly paying for those. And every time we have these kind of conversations, then it takes you back more to how your life has been affected. And the second thing I want to talk about is when politicians come up every time and say that you will tolerate towards terrorism. Red, white, and blue lights on their cars, and they get stopped anyhow, violating traffic at any point, and these all people stay through the traffic and they don't care. Because of that, technical or yeah. And so I will say, how does it relate to terrorism? So we create a lot of injustices in society where all people feel that they have no right to them. When they are contracts, public contracts, and for people to take irrespective of the contract and the public service is not delivered. Are you aware that every road that is being constructed in this country, almost every disease, just matter of fact, the road gets broken before the person is power. I'm not saying all of them get broken, but there is always problems on the road before the person is power.
Also speaking, Antonin Wilson Tama of the Liberia Immigration Service underscored LIS preparedness to ensure preventive measures on violent extremism and tourism across Liberia.
Exercise implementing the Union nationality law. One of the duties that we have as immigration officers is that we have diabetes in Western State, which is very fundamental. So welcome all of you to forming part of the federal country. Having said that, this panel is to is very well in justice to the topic. The Honorable Minister of the Ministry of Defense on the strategy, laying the groundwork and focus on Nigeria's challenges. And I also like to make as a matter of record that we start gathering where the energies are gathered. This statement is the management of time. So, and also, the Council of Professors elevated the discussion by providing education and giving us local impact, regional, continental, and global. Then we use from the accountability lab, try to particularize the whole thing into a move, making us to see the impact directly or indirectly as a matter of security intervention that is for things that happen far beyond our borders. To discuss. Business spoke about. We have the regional barriers, the Ikoku, the Wate, and the one that the minister spoke about. So once you share information, share information is important and it can help us to come up with strategies.
A 3-day intensive national climate justice summit has been launched to boost Liberia agroecology and renewable energy sectors. Making an overview of the program, National Climate Justice Summit chairperson in Liberia disclosed that the institution is prepared to collaborate with women and youth groups to lead a transformative action for climate discussion among agriculture and energy authors, indicating that it will help provide awareness, dialogue, and advocacy. For his part, the executive director of Rural Renewable Energy Agency of Liberia, Samuel Nangbe, lauded the organizers and partners of the program, describing it as a significant tool to the energy and agriculture sectors. Nangbe maintained that with the current challenges facing the Rural Renewable Energy Agency of Liberia and West Africa, there's a need for more partnership and support from governments and international partners.
But also, we think that the outcome from this discussion should also be able to find its way into the development of our new action program agenda, which is now for the awareness agenda of inclusive development. And I'm really happy that we are able to come to say to you all in terms of the demand for climate justice, to say that the government is hearing you. The demand that you say that you want it now, we say this is a responsibility for all of us. And we think that we need to be able to advocate as much as we can so that these demands are placed within our national development agenda.
The city mayor of Zeju City in Grangeda County, Rita Massaquoi, has assured citizens of the removal of cattle from the streets in the city. The spread of cattle, including goats, sheep, and other animals in the city, has caused several problems for residents who term the art as uncivilized and the pollution that is causing health hazard for residents. Speaking of reporters in Zeju on Wednesday, Mayor Massaquoi appreciated citizens for their patience in relation to the removal of cattle in the city, adding that her administration is now prepared to set precedents for those selling and rearing of cattle as a means of beautifying the city.
Firstly, I want to appreciate everybody for the patience, for the way they have been patient when it comes to this cattle issue. I want them to know that I'm out there to get the cattle out of the city without no regret. I can assure you that anybody who is in the habit of supporting the cattle being here, in fact, I don't want to go that far. I want to go that route. Anybody who know that they want for cattle to be there, the fight will be between them and themselves. I'm going to finish it. I'm prepared. They know. Yeah, I'm not against the people, but I'm against the way they are making their business. As a mayor, that my right and that that opportunity for me to interact with people to encourage them to bring the business in the place of home they said. But equally so, I don't have the right to bring sickness to them. All of people say, oh, they want to be superintendent. Now, you know what it means? They key position for you to serve as mayor. Do you know that this city was honored and praised by the former president of the Republic of Liberia, Madam Seli? So if yesterday we were respected, we were honored, I told them already. So nothing to be. In fact, I'm sending this message to the owner of the cattle.
City Mayor of Zreju, City Rita Masakwe, they're speaking. The Moravia City Corporation Sanitation and Waste Management team has announced a new approach in waste management in Moravia and its environs. Speaking to reporters Wednesday, MCC Sanitation and Waste Management Director Success Harris disclosed that the reform to improve the waste management sector will focus on door-to-door waste collection.
Was a major issue for us because the intrusion of the informal sector became cardinal issue for us. So we divided the primary waste. We said on primary we have slum, we have urban waste directors. So we have two directors right on there. Then we also have a director for hazardous and medical waste. We also have a director for recycling, composting, and SME. We also have a director for public waste management. So the public waste management focus on street cleaning, collection and disposal, and hazardous obviously focus on medical, on wholesome food, e-waste, and so on.
MCC Sanitation and Waste Management Director Success Harris. The head of the Diaspora Liberians Annual Return 2024, Clarice Kula, has revealed plans of Liberians living abroad to return home anytime soon. Speaking on the state radio Wednesday, Kula stated that the upcoming program is scheduled to take place from the 1st of December to 31st, aimed at bringing educated and potential Liberians back home to contribute to the country.
Right now, I'm just volunteering. So Erasmus William is at the Ministry of State for Presidential Affairs. He's the diaspora coordinator there. And then Blake is at the Ministry of Foreign Affairs. So there's two diaspora. A lot of what we're trying to do is to just get the word out to the Liberian diaspora. Hey, this office is here. We're here for you. Our president is a president that has engaged the diaspora. He wants them to come home. He wants them to help in the rebuilding process. So our goal is to spread the message to the diaspora that this is what the president wants and this is what we're going to do. So right now, as you're aware, they're having the Diaspora Liberians Annual Return, which is scheduled to take place this December from the 1st all the way to the 31st. There are some very important activities that will be happening during that time. One of them is the One Liberia March, where we're all going to stand in the streets of Monrovia and hold hands. People coming from the diaspora and people on ground as one Liberia. So that's the goal. It's not you guys over there at the diaspora, we here are the Liberians. So we're all like, so bring our people together and spreading that message. So that's one of the activities. We have a Heritage Award.
Head of Diaspora Liberians Annual Return 2024, Clarice Kula. They're bringing us to a near end of this early edition of King's News Brown. But before we leave you, a quick reminder of stories we followed in the headlines. Majority bloc of the House of Representatives issues second warning to Deputy Speaker Thomas Fallard, mandates his appearance in the Joint Chamber on October 31. Ministry of Public Works refutes allegations of 22 million used for road maintenance. Minister Guinness says 9.9 million was disbursed to contractors for road works. You also heard in the news, University of Liberia Student Union criticizes anti-Kofa bloc over continuing political fight for the removal of Speaker Kofa. Whose spokesperson Abraham Gampin says the fight is a hindrance to government workings. And away from Liberia, a beauty queen in Rwanda has been arrested for drunk driving and driving without a lesson. as Spain grapples with the fallout from the flash floods which struck on Tuesday. The blame game has already begun, with disaster relief services accused of being slow to react. Many thanks to all of our hard-working reporters, correspondents, and all those who helped in making this edition of King's News Bureau resources. Polinius Johnson sat at control and handled the technical aspect of this edition. On behalf of the team, I'm Sherman Deere, our presenter. Thanks for listening and watching.
When somebody